Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah from the Technical Services Window.
And today we'll be showing you how to set up and use the DJI RS3 Gimbal.
To start off, we have to set up the gimbal. To do so, attach the battery grip to the extended grip, both located in the gimbal's accessory side. On the bottom of the battery grip, there is a screw hole, and on top of the extended grip, there is a screw. Simply screw the extended grip to the battery grip and they should connect. Once connected, open the extended grip's tripod legs and set it down on a level surface. After that, take the gimbal out of the bag and attach it to the battery grip by simply lining up the pins found at the bottom of the gimbal to the contacts on top of the battery grip, as shown here. You may need to push it down and rock it back and forth just a little bit. Do not force it down. You will hear a clicking sound once they are attached. Make sure that the lock is engaged on the side of the gimbal. The next step in the setup process is to unlock the auto lock on the roll motor of the gimbal and set it to the proper stance. The roll motor auto lock can be found on the left hand side of the gimbal on the roll motor arm. Unlock the roll motor arm, then turn the roll motor arm to a 90-degree angle and relock the roll motor. It should look like this. Next, unlock the auto lock found on top of the tilt motor arm. Set it to the default stance as shown. After that, lock it back up. You will now need to get the quick release plate found in the accessory side of the gimbal case and place it on the gimbal's tilt motor arm. To do so, slide the back of the plate into the front of the slot found on the tilt motor arm as shown. Use the knob to place the plate about midway. Then lock the plate in place by turning the silver lever found on the side to the locked position.
We will now attach the camera to the gimbal. Currently, the only camera at the window that is fully functional with the gimbal is the Blackmagic 6K Pro. While the gimbal can be balanced with a standard Sigma lens on the 6K Pro, we have found it easier to balance the gimbal with smaller and lighter weight Canon prime lenses from the lens kit. Before attaching the camera to the gimbal, make sure you have put the battery in the camera and have attached any needed accessories to the camera. To attach the camera to the plate, first take off the mini plate found on top of the quick release plate. Turn the silver lever behind the quick release plate and slide the plate to the left. As you are sliding the mini plate off, press the silver button on the back of the quick release plate to take off the mini plate. Carefully attach the mini plate to the camera, making sure it is secure. On the Blackmagic, we will use the back screw hole. Notice the horizontal plate orientation. Reattach the mini plate to the quick release plate by sliding it back into place and locking it. For the Blackmagic 6K Pro, slide it in until the grip almost touches the tilt arm. Now we will begin the process of balancing the gimbal. First, we will need to do a rough balance of the quick release plate. With one hand on the camera, release the tilt lock and ensure the camera doesn't fall. Slide the quick release plate lever to the unlocked position and turn the silver knob to adjust the plate back and forth. We want to balance the camera so it stays pointing forward on its own. Next, we will need to balance the tilt motor arm. To do so, point the camera straight up. The camera must be able to stay pointing up. If it doesn't stay up, adjust the position of the tilt plate by loosening the silver lever while holding onto the camera. Applying a little pressure up on the tilt plate will help you slide it. Adjust the arm until you find the correct position to where the camera stays pointing up by itself. After that, we will now fine-tune the position of the quick release plate to ensure the camera stays level. While holding the camera, return it to a level position pointing forward. Carefully take some pressure off the camera and see if the camera stays in a level position. If it doesn't, unlock the quick release plate and move it either back or forward by turning the silver knob on the plate until it stays level. Once it is leveled, lock the plate. To check if you balance the tilt motor arm correctly, tilt the camera up or down and it should stay in place to wherever you leave it. If not, then you will need to check your balance again. Lock the tilt lock when the camera is balanced. Next is balancing the roll motor arm. While holding onto the camera, unlock the auto lock on the side of the roll motor arm. The camera may want to lean left or right when unlocking. We will need to adjust the roll motor arm so that the camera stays leveled and doesn't want to lean left or right. To adjust the arm, hold the camera and unlock the arm's position with the silver lever found on top of the roll motor arm. After unlocking it, move the arm left or right and find the right position so that the camera stays leveled. Just like before, it helps to put a little pressure up on the plate to make it easier to slide. If the camera leans left, move the arm's position more to the right, and if the camera leans more to the right, move the arm more to the left. Once the camera seems balanced, move the lever back to the lock position. To see if you correctly balance the roll motor, lean the camera left or right and it should go back into its centered position. If not, try rebalancing the arm. When you are done, relock the roll motor arm lock. Lastly, we will balance the pan motor arm. Start by unlocking the auto lock found on the base of the gimbal. With the camera pointing away from you, hold the gimbal grip with 2 hands and slowly and carefully tilt the gimbal forward to the right or left. If the back of the gimbal moves towards the direction that you are leaning the gimbal, unlock the pan lever and slide the pan arm away from you. Relock the pan lock lever and try again. If the back of the gimbal moves away from the direction that you are leaning it, unlock the pan lever and slide the pan arm toward you. Then relock the pan lever. Repeat these steps until the gimbal no longer turns when you tilt it from side to side. To check if you have fully balanced the gimbal, unlock all 3 motors and you should be able to place the camera in any position and it should stay in place. The balancing process may take some time, but it's an important step when setting up the gimbal. Make sure to properly balance the gimbal because if you don't, it can cause damage to both camera and the gimbal. Once done with balancing, we can turn on the gimbal. Press and hold the power button on the right hand side of the gimbal. When you turn it on, all 3 motor locks will automatically unlock. There is one more step in the balancing process, and that is to auto-tune the gimbal. To do so, on the touchscreen, press on the upper left icon, and this will take you to the gimbal's balancing statistics. Here you will see if all 3 motors are balanced. If each motor's bar are fully grayed or have a green indicator, it is properly balanced. On the bottom of the screen, you will see Start Calibration. Select it. This will give the gimbal the final tuning in the balancing process. It will take a few moments for the calibration to finish. During the process, the gimbal will shake, so make sure to auto-tune the gimbal on a flat surface. After the calibration is done, you can press the left arrow button on the top left of the screen and return to the main menu. The gimbal is now ready to use.
The gimbal has 3 modes that it can be switched to. These modes are used when filming with it. The first mode we will go over is the pan follow mode. In this mode, the pan follows the movement you make with the gimbal handle. So if I turn the gimbal handle to the left, the camera will pan to the left. If I turn the gimbal handle to the right, the camera will pan to the right. The next mode is pan and tilt follow. In this mode, the pan and tilt follow the movement of the gimbal's handle. So if you tilt the gimbal handle back to the camera will tilt up. If you lean it forward, the camera will tilt down. Pan works the same as before. The last mode is pan, tilt, and roll follow. This will make it so that all 3 motors follow the movement of the gimbal's handle. Now if you roll the gimbal handle to the left, the camera also rolls to the left. Or if you roll the gimbal handle to the right, the camera will roll to the right. Another special feature of the gimbal is the ability to connect the Blackmagic and adjust the setting of it with the gimbal. First, you will need to connect the Blackmagic and the gimbal together. To connect them, get the USB-C to USB-C cable inside the gimbal case and attach it to the gimbal's tilt motor arm. Connect it to the USB-C slot with the camera icon. Then connect it to the USB-C slot on the Blackmagic. Once connected, you will have access to using the dial functions. The dial is found on the front of the gimbal here. You can adjust what camera function the dial controls on the touchscreen. From the home screen, swipe up once. Press the dial function button. Slide the menu down with your finger until you see the camera control options. These include aperture, shutter, and ISO. Select the function you want to control by pressing on it. In this example, we are choosing the aperture. With it selected, as I move the dial in the front of the gimbal, the aperture changes. To get back to the main menu, press the left arrow on the top left corner of the screen and pull down with your finger. Some other helpful functions on the gimbal is the trigger button on the front of it. Pressing it 2 times will recenter the gimbal. Pressing the power button once will put the gimbal in sleep mode, and the gimbal will go into its idle stance. When you are done using the gimbal, press and hold the power button. The gimbal will go into its power off stance. In order to make it easier to take the camera off, let's put it back in its idled stance. First, unlock the roll motor. Place it like this, and relock the motor. Next, unlock the tilt motor. Place it like this, and then relock the motor. Take apart the gimbal. Start by removing any cables you attached from the camera to the gimbal. Then unlock the mini plate lever and slide it out while holding the camera carefully and pressing the silver button on the back of the quick release plate. Next, detach the camera from the mini plate and put it back on the quick release plate, locking it in place. Remove the quick release plate by unlocking the silver lever. Next, you want to use the silver knob, pushing it away from you. Then you can put it back in the gimbal case. Then put the roll motor and pan motor arm back to their default stance. Note, you may have to slide the pan arm back toward you to enable it to go back to the default stance. Next, detach the gimbal from the battery grip with the silver lever on the bottom left side of the gimbal. After you are done disassembling the gimbal, you can put it back in its bag as shown here. Finally, detach the battery grip from the extended grip and put them back in their proper place. And there you have the DJI RS3 Gimbal. Give it a like if you find it helpful. If you have any questions, please contact the Technical Services window for help.